Hi guys, welcome back to Whiskey and Walks. My name is Ed. So today we're going to go on a little bit of a field trip with the channel, and we're going to take a visit over to the place where the first whiskey of the kind of modern whiskey era was distilled in Connacht, and some of my favourite whiskey that's available in Ireland nowadays, and that is the Shed Distillery in Drumshanbo. So the first thing that really struck me when we arrived in Drumshanbo was how cool and funky and unique the distillery is in its design. And I really don't think I did myself any favours going over so early in the year in late January, because you got this gorgeous outdoor area, and the bar that we'll take a look at in a minute is just so bright and open, and it's just begging for a bit of a summer afternoon session sipping pot still whiskey. I can't stress enough how cool the design of the distillery is. You got a lot of these kind of mosaics and art pieces which really celebrate the drinks that have made the Shed Distillery famous. One of my favourite parts of the entire distillery was the gorgeous greenhouse bar. Again, really cool, unique, different, a lot of Asian influences on the design, which was really cool. First order of business was to check out the cocktail menu. They all looked fantastic, but in the end I had to go for the old fashioned, which is Drumshanbo's old fashioned with all Irish ingredients. First up, of course, was the Drumshanbo pot still whiskey, followed by the cream soda simple syrup made in-house in the distillery. This was absolutely gorgeous. Gave a lot of sweetness without making the cocktail too sweet. Next, there was bitters. There was a whole range of bitters to choose from, and then obviously iced down in the mixing glass. I've had a lot of old fashions in different pubs, restaurants, hotels, venues around Ireland, and genuinely this was one of the nicest I've ever had. The attention to detail is amazing. You can see that the orange peel that I was given was even trimmed to look like the label of a Drumshanbo pot still whiskey bottle with those serrated edges, and it was served smoked in this gorgeous presentation case. Absolutely delicious. I had a little bit of time to kill before my tour, so I took a look around the distillery shop. Really cool. It had this kind of gorgeous intentional aesthetic, as if it was like an old cluttered shop, but they had loads of amazing stuff in there. Obviously the whiskey and the gin, the premium products on sale, and then everything else you could possibly imagine, from clothing to the barware that was used in the bar, glassware, badges, pins, anything you could possibly want. And it's just a really cool place to take a look around. You could spend the whole day in the gift shop, although I'm not sure my wallet would thank me for that. But luckily we were getting ready for a tour. So our tour was actually led by PJ Rigney, owner and operator of the distillery, and of course after the tour it was a celebration of the Gunpowder Gin Year of the Dragon edition, so we had to have a gin cocktail to finish off the evening. And I have to say, not usually a fan of the super fruity cocktails, but this was delicious. Can't recommend a visit to the Shed Distillery enough, and obviously I couldn't leave empty-handed. I was tempted by the Glanta or the Pinot Noir finish, but I decided to keep it core range with a bottle of the Drumshanbo pot still, which we're going to take a look at right now. So we had a great visit over to Drumshanbo. It was a beautiful distillery over there in the Shed. We went kind of earlier in the year, I think it was about February, but I'd love to pop over again in the summer, because their kind of greenhouse style main bar is just gorgeous, and when the sun is coming through, I imagine it's an absolutely fabulous place to sit down, have a whiskey, have a gin and tonic if that's your thing with the gunpowder gin. I was lucky enough to pick myself up a bottle of the Drumshanbo pot still. It's the main whiskey in their core range. It comes in this absolutely gorgeous box, and we're going to have a taste of it now and see what you guys think. So one of the things I like about Drumshanbo is that it's a totally independent distillery. It was set up by PJ Rigney, who I managed to meet on the day when I visited the distillery, and it really is like a real community operation in a small town in Drumshanbo, and I think it goes to show with the care and attention that has gone into making this whiskey. So on the nose, it's a lovely kind of fragrant whiskey. You've got some of those pot still elements that you'd be expecting, a little bit of pot still spice, vanilla. I get quite a bit of like dried fruits, almost like fig on it.
It's just a really, really kind of well-rounded and delicate whiskey on the nose and on the taste. And really follows through on all those notes that you get on the nose. You get that kind of immediate up front, you get a little bit of that pot still spice, and it's followed by those kind of sherry, vanilla notes, a little bit of caramel. It's a really, really delicious whiskey. One of the things that I really like about the Drumshanbo pot still from the Shed, and other whiskey distilleries are doing this as well, but I think for me, Drumshanbo is the best example, is the use of a very limited amount. It's only about 5% of oats in the mash bill. What that does is it allows me to get that real creaminess on the back end. Even though I love pot still whiskies, I love Redbreast, I love the spot whiskies, the list goes on. Sometimes I do find that the way my palate is tuned, or the way my palate tastes things, I get a big whack of pot still spice, and sometimes it can overtake other things in the whiskey. And for me, that inclusion of a little bit of oats just lets me get that creaminess and lets me really, really enjoy the whole whiskey. So well worth picking up a bottle of Drumshanbo pot still. Some of the other whiskies in the range are absolutely amazing as well. Well worth a look. They had a Pinot Noir finished pot still expression for a little while. That was a limited release, so it can be trickier to get nowadays. And in fact, I was lucky enough to stop by the guy's stand, Whiskey Live, and taste some of the whiskies that they had there. Their newest one is a Marsala release, which is actually finished, or excuse me, not finished. It has 100% of its maturation in those red wine casks, and it's really, really fragrant. It's really, really vibrant and just full of flavor. So yeah, definitely worth a visit to the Shed Distillery if you're over in the west of Ireland, and definitely worth picking up a bottle of this whiskey. I just want to say thanks again to everybody in the Shed Distillery in Drumshanbo for letting us have a great day out and letting us take a look around the distillery. And until the next time, cheers.
Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them down below, and I would really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe for more videos. Any recommendations on videos you'd like to see would be really, really appreciated.